Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. So, I saw this beautiful sister's video where she was talking about how Black people have been begging to be seen all these years, and that there is nothing anybody is going through at this point in time that Black people are not also going through. And the fact that Black people actually took their time to call out everybody. See, one thing people do not understand is that no matter how rich you are, no matter how big you are, there might be someone out there, right, who is probably not as rich as you are, but the person is blessed with all the wisdom that anyone can ask for. Black people are blessed with so much wisdom. Black people are very good at seeing something from far and tell you this is how it will play, and it plays out the same way they say it. Black people are politically intelligent in the sense that they have lived this place for how many years, and they already know the people they have been living with. Why? Because Black people can read people from far away. All these things are what you all have refused to see and still continue to make mistakes and then turn around to push it on Black people. You all better be ready. Let's get into this video.
Black people have been literally begging this country and all of its citizens to see us wholly, to hear us fully since the beginning of time. The struggle to be seen and respected in this country is so intrinsically woven throughout the fabric of who we are. It's motivating, inspiring, but somewhat depressing. If you think about how much it's affected the Black culture, from our music to artists like Nina Simone, all the way to Ice Cube, Public Enemy, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, Curtis Mayfield, have spoken about our struggle and seeing us. Our books, we have authors like Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, Alex Haley, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, Michael Harriot, Ta-Nehisi Coates now. Our television shows, there's not a television show that doesn't have classic scenes in it, whether it be from The Cosby Show to Sanford and Son, that talks about our struggle. Our academicians, our preachers, from Martin Luther King Jr. to Jesse Jackson to Jeremiah Wright to Eric Dyson. We have marched, we have written, we have sung, we have boycotted, we have had freedom rides, we have had civil disobedience, yes, we have gone silent, and we have screamed. We have died. Many of us have died just to get people to listen to our struggle and to make changes and to give us civil rights. And so I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and I hear people say, this isn't America. And it's always been our America. This has always been our America. I watched another video the other day, and there's a Latino woman crying, and she says, they're hunting us. We've always felt hunted. I've heard people complaining about what good, hardworking, decent people they are, and yet they're being defined by a very small minority who may have broken laws. It's exactly how we have felt. So we have sympathy and we have empathy, but this isn't new to us. We knew. We've known, which is why we begged, we pleaded, we wrote again, We marched again. We stood next to poles. We did everything. We were desperate because we knew, as we've always known, how bad it was going to be. Not how bad it could be, but when we were told, because everything that we're seeing now, we were told was going to be, nobody believed it, but we knew. We believed them because we had been living it. And so we begged not for you to vote and to vote the best with the best option we had at the time. And not just to save us, because we've always been here, but really fighting to save you, to save this country, to save democracy. And you didn't listen then. And so you had to understand the frustration, the hesitancy to get, but so involved. The only time you saw us is when you became us. And you too realize that you too are niggas. But we still don't know if you really see us. We still don't know if you've had that aha moment, that you recognize that we're all in this together, or the minute that this country gets its foot off your necks, the minute you feel as if you have a chance at white adjacency again, will you desert us? Like, do you get it now? Or if we step up, if we try to unite with you and help, are you going to remember now? Because this isn't the first time that any groups have been discriminated against, but it seems to happen. And then as soon as white supremacy taunts you, you go back and you forget. So that you must understand is, how do we trust you? How do we trust you?
Breaking news you can use, folks. You're going to want to hear this. There have been multiple reports of videos on the social media app called TikTok of non-Black Hispanics and Latinos complaining that Black Americans refuse to stand with them. They cite that they were there during Black Lives Matter protests, despite only making up about 7% of those protests. They have been playing music such as Tupac, where he says that the Black and Mexicans stand together. They have unfortunately been unable to find examples of their musical artists talking about standing in solidarity with Black people. But they have a lot of examples of Black people talking about standing with them. There have also been reports of Black immigrants criticizing Black Americans for refusing to stand with the Latino and Mexican community during these ICE protests. They have stated that they are under the belief that Black Americans are lazy, which is very reminiscent of white supremacist talking point. They have stated that they are tired of us using our ancestors' accomplishments on immigration that allowed them to be here, and that we, in fact, have not done anything and have no right to take a rest, despite all of the genocidal actions that are happening against Black Americans here. Despite Black Americans opening their arms to all community at the detriment of themselves, Black Americans apparently have not sacrificed enough blood, sweat, and tears to quench their thirst. There have also been plenty reports of very mixed Black people, who I affectionately call quadrocoons, yelling into their cameras at different odd angles in different odd places, never at a protest, stating that Black Americans are evil and wrong if they do not stand up with everybody else's cause, even while dealing with their racism, because they believe Black people should push through their emotions and deal with the racism because there are other priorities taking place. Black people should come last. Folks, they're saying that after they come for the brown people, they'll be coming for the Black people next. Many Black Americans find this surprising. I am one of them because I never knew that they stopped, and I could have sworn that we were first, since this all looks quite familiar, but I could be mistaken. Apparently, a lot of these people suffer from some type of amnesia and forget that the Black Lives Matter movement was co-opted by several other movements, including for Hispanics. There were quite a few reports of Black people helping Hispanics protest for immigration rights, including the Black vote, who overwhelmingly and the most voted for Kamala Harris. Just remember, folks, Black issues are last. Deal with the racism, help others. That's the way to go. Hopefully, they'll double back and come help us afterwards. This has been News You Can Use with Crystal Black. Toodaloo.
Black people are tired of being a bank where everyone keeps making withdrawals and no one ever makes a deposit. And I want you to think about that. If that was your setup, would you still want to give? Especially for those of us in the Hispanic community, because it's about patterns that we've inherited and the harm that we've ignored. Me, myself, I'm Puerto Rican. I've seen how anti-blackness and colorism still show up in our homes, in our language, in our media, in our families. In many families, darker skin is treated like a disadvantage. When solidarity is needed, hesitation shows what's been internalized, and too many of us were raised to believe that aligning with blackness meant losing something: safety, opportunity, acceptance. And we were taught the proximity to whiteness would protect us, that staying quiet was safer. So if we don't unlearn that, we end up repeating the same harm we say we stand against. So disengagement is not okay. What's happening to immigrant communities right now is devastating. I'm not taking away from that, and it does deserve compassion and support. But a good portion of that fear didn't come from distant forces, and it came from within our own communities. I've spoken out because I've watched people I know support systems that were never created for us to begin with. Systems that weren't designed to protect us, only to use us when it's convenient. So while I've raised my voice, I also know too many that have stayed silent, or worse, they chose power. We don't get to ask for empathy if we're unwilling to confront the harm our silence helped protect. And contrary to popular opinion, holding each other accountable isn't betrayal. It's how we begin to heal. So to the Black women and men that are saying we've poured into everybody and got nothing back, you're not wrong. You've carried movements, you've carried communities, you've carried generations without rest, without complaint, without question. And we cannot undo the silence that already has happened, but we can take responsibility for what happens next. I think people are not realizing we have way more similarities than differences, and we have more power together than we do apart. So look to your Black brother or sister, look at them and say thank you. And I see you. It's simple as that. Strike up a conversation, get to understand, because that's all they're asking for, to be seen and to be appreciated.
Yo, thanks so much for this comment. You're spot on. And it's not just, the Black and the brown community. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. It's all of it. It's the LGBTQ. I mean, read that book, Chaos, on the Manson murders and how he worked with the FBI or the CIA. So in the 60s, this shit, it's been plotted ever since then to divide and conquer. We need to look at the history for what it really is. And you're totally right about that. My parents live out in the IE, and it's all Trump, you know. There's Asians, there's Hispanics, majority whites. I grew up in that area for part of my life between East LA and the IE, and it was that is that when you're around whites, you pick up on their mentality of racism, and you want to be at their level. You know, you're being bullied and all this crap, so you get whitewashed. And that's what it is now, is that they think being white is superior, which is what we're seeing. What has happened? These people at the top are majority white. And yeah, we just really need to go back to our roots and really learn the history and unite, because this Latino on Latino fight, this hatred, this racism against our own people, Afro Latinos against whitewashed Mexicans or whatever you want to call them. I mean, my mom is darker than me. I'm light skinned, but I noticed that difference of, people thought I was white and I got treated differently than my own cousins and my, you know what I mean? My family. So, and my mom was the darkest out of her siblings. So there was that. There was hatred amongst in our family. So imagine not being related to people, blacks and Latinos were taught to really hate each other and fucking fight against each other when we're literally fighting the same fight. So we really do need to mobilize since yesterday against what is happening. And really, everybody that's been out there protesting, you need to start sharing that footage to change this algorithm, because the algorithm, oh my goodness, it's just spewing fucking hatred, and that's part of the narrative. I'm focusing on big tech so much because I'm studying cybersecurity, and I know for a fact they swayed the elections. Google. And I shouldn't even be saying these words because I'm going to dox myself and fucking put on some list against, the government. But Google did sway the election. They had ads running in multiple fucking states, totally red, and other states were totally turned off, no ads. Obviously people went out and voted. I know that's a fact, but don't forget that there was a big propaganda machine pushing one side that helped sway the election. Anyway, I'm going on a rant, but the point is, we do need to mobilize. We need to organize, unite with organizations that have fought these fights and know how to protest, know what our rights are, know what to do, know what they're coming after, know how to protect ourselves in these protests. One of my friends in the military that worked in the PSYOPs sector told me, you need to be really careful going out there if you're going to protest, and protect your eyes, because optics, as soon as they scan your fucking eyes, you're in a database. We need to be wearing, protecting our eyes, covering ourselves, our tattoos, our identities, the same way ICE is. And we need to have our phones actually on airplane mode, but we should be taking cameras. I'm going to be taking GoPros out there and stuff. So I'll be sharing more on what I do. And on my Instagram, I posted a lot of resources. It's Tomoko Dubs, TOMOKODUBZ. And I will be focusing my efforts on my community in San Gabriel Valley, Whittier, La Puente, Downey, where I'm from. So yeah, tap in, y'all, and let's really, start following each other. If you're in LA, let's start localizing and really, taking control of the narrative, because we got two wars right now: the online battle and the in real life time battle.
Two things. They've been violating the rights of black Americans since slavery. Yeah. Also, we're not immigrants. You know that BIPOC, black, indigenous people of color, you know how only two groups have their own letters and everyone else is lumped into people of color? Right? Black, indigenous cannot be deported. People of color can.
This is all I got from this video. And the fact that people have refused to understand where black people are coming from shows how much they do not know black people. And I have been saying this, I do not ever want to be the person that have been living with people without knowing them, without understanding them, without being able to know when they need space and when they do not need space. If you live with people like that, yeah, there are probably, you shouldn't be living, and you should never think of living with people like that. Right? Like the first sister said, there is nothing black people have not seen, experience. It's been how many decades? How many decades? But you people still want to gaslight black people when they tell you about their experiences, when they tell you about what they want and what they do not want. You people want to wake up every day and gaslight them. And I have never in my entire life seen people looking for somebody to carry their cross without even them trying to see how far they can carry that cross before someone else starts helping them. I have never seen someone like that. Black people have been begging to be seen. And it's not something new. It's something people, everybody know, except you do not know your history, except you also do not want to identify with your own history. I have said this several times that Black history is American history and every other person's history. Because if you check it, you definitely will see how intertwined all of them are. But some of you are so ignorant that you do not even want to know. And then with your ignorance, you still come out on the internet. Black people are this. Black people do not want to help us. See, all of you are calling for unity today, but we need to unite. Nobody is saying that we do not need to unite. There is need for everybody to unite. That I know. But are we uniting because you need help? That after uniting tomorrow, you will not run away because you all have been running away. You know what is going on right now? It's some people's relationship. This is some people's marriage. Why am I am saying it this way because it is so easy to understand this particular one, this example. Everybody can easily catch it. You live with your husband or your wife doesn't do anything for you. It's just like you guys are just roommates. You've actually lost that closeness or whatever. You know what it takes to be in a relationship with somebody? But the moment you all stop, you don't discuss, you don't talk anything. It's just maybe in the morning you might say good morning and leave to work, come back the next day. You might not see him for 1 week or he might not see you for 1 week. Nobody is trying to talk. It means you guys have lost the sparkle that makes relationship beautiful. So in the end, it is either you divorce or you start going for therapy. And you are not going for therapy because you just want to go for therapy. You are going for therapy or counseling because you want something to work. Not because after going for therapy tomorrow, you will go back to your normal way. There must be effort to make things work. I hope this is actually making sense. But in a way that you all will look for help, come to Black people, get the help, run away, and come back the next day. Like one of the ladies say, you've been only withdrawing, you never deposit. If you come back to that bank one day to take some money, you may have spent all you have. Why? Because you kept withdrawing and you never put any money back. This is so easy. Black people already had it here. You all had it. See, sometimes when I look at everything going on and people calling for help, calling for assistance, and some people saying, why are Black people not helping? One thing I am going to tell you is that some people may actually not understand the beginning of this story to the end of it. But I can tell this story because I have been watching it play out. And I have also been reporting it. Did Mexicans mess up? They messed up big time. They messed up. I see a lot of you calling calling Kendrick Lamar, calling this person. I have never seen irresponsible people like this. Why? You are not calling your own people, but my own people are the ones you have to call and then put them on blast. That is very irresponsible. I have to say it the way it is. But yeah, it is what it is. One thing I am going to say is that you all have been withdrawing from Black People's Bank. And at this point in time, they have filed for bankruptcy. And you know what happens when somebody files for bankruptcy? I don't have money. I don't have money. Even if you beat me from now to tomorrow, I ain't no coin. I ain't no cent dropping. Not until you refill. And not until you all start seeing Black people, because you all refuse to see them. Bye for now.